See if I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Thank you so much for coming on, Jumpman.
Oh no,
It's for me this is it's pretty wild to have you on here and talking to you. You know, I've been following your journey on YouTube since July 23rd, 2008.
Oh man, that's
your day one, first video ever.
Yeah.
You know, you and Sneak Geeks were the first I remember. And then obviously Chris over at Wear Testers, he started his thing with the performance side of things. But for me to have you on here, it's a huge opportunity, and just definitely happy to talk to you and obviously ask you some questions. And then the community can kind of, you know, if they don't know you, they'll get to know you a little bit better. So I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. It means a lot to me too.
Very much so. So I have some questions here, and we can kind of just go from there. But I guess for you, how did this all start, like this whole shoot craze? Obviously you're over 1,400 pairs now. How did it all start for you, and what's your earliest memory of like footwear, even if it's not Jordans?
Well, my earliest memory was in high school, 1979 on.
Yeah.
Nike Blazers.
Yeah.
Converse.
Converse was a big player, yeah.
They were all before Jordan. See, how it all started is MJ and I are the same age.
A couple days apart, I think.
Couple days. I'm 2 days older than him. I'm his big brother.
That's right.
So to speak. But it's just all so crazy. I was in college, 1985, when the Chicago's dropped, but we were an Adidas school.
Right.
So I had to sneak and wear them around campus to school and all of that, even when I wasn't supposed to do that, because we had to be outfitted in Adidas stuff, because we represented Adidas, but I didn't care for Adidas. It's from the Chicago's on. It's just led up to 1,400 and now 40 there. I got one.
That's right.
On Monday that
beautiful.
I've been searching for. And I have some of the other ones that came out, so now I was able to add this one to it as well.
Add to the collection. That's already grown so big. And you know, for me, the craziest thing was back in 2008 when you started your YouTube channel, you already had like 400 pairs deep. I remember seeing the boxes like 400 something pairs. So for you, this is more of like a way of life, of something that you enjoy. From like it's not about the hype. It's not about like I need every pair. It's just pairs that resonate with you just seem to make their way into the collection, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
That's correct. Even the fusions, the team shoes,
that's
the
right.
hybrids, the boots, the cleats. My collection is different from a lot of other people,
right?
Because I have a little bit of everything, and that's why my ultimate goal is to open a museum where people can see things that either they haven't seen or used to have and don't have. A lot of people hit me up about some fusions and other hybrid shoes. Say, oh man, I forgot the name of them, but I figured you would have them. And a lot of times I have them.
Yeah.
And I tell them and I show them pictures of them, and it says bring back so many memories. And that's kind of fulfilling for me, because I like things that aren't hype, that everybody doesn't go after. And it's always been me to do that, and I still do it to this day. Yeah,
absolutely. All the Team Jordans that come out that no one really cares about. You know, the Jumpman Swift 6 retroed a couple of years ago, or maybe it's more like 6 years ago now. But that was a shoe that no one cared about when they came out. They're like, why is this coming out? But for someone like me that remembers Eddie playing in them, and you know, I've seen them on your page throughout the years. I was so happy for them to come back, because I was a kid when they came out originally, and then when they retroed, it's like, now I can finally have them. So it's just cool to see. Exactly, like this shoe right here. You made a video about this shoe right here, because I was kind of hitting you up and talking about it, and you shouted me out in the video. And I think your pair is a sample pair or a player exclusive?
I have both. I have the regular pair with Jordan on it, and I have the Eddie Jones.
The Eddie Jones,
with the EJ6 on it. Yeah.
And this pair got recalled, so because of this clasp right here, it was a bit of an issue here. And I got these for my 12th birthday, and to see them on your page, I was just like, it's just so cool to see that you're not all about like the number Jordans. You love your Team Jordans as well.
Yes, and I used to ball in those.
That's right.
And what people nowadays don't realize was back in the day, in the early 90s, 2000s, the retros were just as popular
That's right.
as the numbered shoes.
That's
but
right.
people don't believe that. They always, nowadays, they call them the poor man's Jordan, or they don't have respect for them at all.
Well, the thing about the Team Jordans back in the day is they were priced a little bit lower, but they more or less had the exact same tech as like the 13s and the 12s. They
Yeah.
had the exact same tech package, so you were getting the same thing at a cheaper price. So
Yeah.
for basketball players like you and me, that was like, that's awesome. You get to save a few bucks and hoop in something similar.
Correct.
Yeah, big time. So what's your favorite Jordan that you've played in throughout the years? And I kind of keep it with basketball a little bit here because I know you played at San Diego University.
Yes.
So you played at a high level. You played in Mexico, which is super cool. But growing up and throughout the years in your playing days, what was like your favorite pair that you loved lacing up?
To be honest, my favorite pair is Converse, the All-Stars. Because before Mike, it was Dr. J.
Right.
You know, and then it was Magic.
Right.
And then it was Mike.
That's right.
Then it was Ray. Now it's Anthony Edwards. But before Anthony Edwards, it was Steph Curry.
Right.
So it's kind of evolved into different players. But for the longest time, it was just MJ, of course, is what started all of this, what I have now. But my earliest memories, like I said, is of the Nikes, the Blazers, and the Converse All-Stars, and the shoe called the Beta Bullet. Magic Johnson wore them in 1979 when they played Indiana State. A lot of people don't know about the.
I've never even heard the name. So there you go. I'm learning something right now.
They just disappeared. But if you Google Beta, they'll pop up as BAETA. And I wish I still had that shoe from high school.
Absolutely.
I wore that shoe in high school. I loved it. It was a mid cut.
Yeah.
And that was my first time wearing mid cuts, and my coach hated it. Because back in the 80s and 90s, coaches high tops. Yeah. And they always stressed that. And when I got to the University of San Diego, we wore the Air Force Ones. They were like boots to me.
Those are like bricks on your feet.
Yes. And I was a guard. I was a slasher. So they let me wear a mid-cut shoe.
Yeah.
But my coach, he fought me. And then he ended up letting me and my other guard companion, Chris Carr, we wore mid-cuts.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's funny because back when MJ donned these guys right here, these have I think they're the the Pro Court or the midsole and outsole of the Pro Court. He wasn't a fan of this midsole because he was so high off the ground. And then that's why they brought in the PE airships, and then ultimately the Air Jordan 1 had a lower cut midsole and it was just closer to the floor. So this is a pair that's highly sought after, but MJ didn't even, he wasn't even a big fan of this outsole and midsole here. Right. So like you're saying there, you like to be closer to the floor as well. So having that mid-cut shoe and probably lower to the floor, because those Air Forces, man, those are unforgiving on your feet.
Oh man, and then the strap, and you most of the guys on the team wore them without the strap, but you had the strap around there, and they were heavy, and I felt like it was restricting my jumping ability.
Right, absolutely. So how long did you end up playing actually over in Mexico? Was it like a year or 2 years?
I played 6 years, so I wore
6 years.
Models.
Holy cow! Never mind.
Yeah, 6 different models of Jordans, starting with the 3s going on up, and then my mom got sick, and she ended up passing from a heart attack. I came home and I just never went back. I didn't even look back. I just stayed with my dad. Yeah. And I got on with the sheriff's department.
Yes.
And ultimately got on with the Detroit Police Department.
That's right.
I've just been here.
Right.
But I just came home cold turkey. I left in the middle of playing. Yeah. But out there, I worked for FedEx, so this is my second go round with FedEx.
That's right.
And I worked with 7-Up, so they allowed me to take breaks because we had 6-month seasons.
Right.
I lived in San Diego, I crossed the border, played in Tijuana, and they were a big soccer country at that time. They weren't really into basketball.
Not back then.
They loved basketball, and I just remember the crowd, Marco Bastico, just the way they said my name, man.
Amazing.
I had so much fun, man, traveling in Mexico and meeting people and just doing something that I love to do. But during all that time, I was still collecting shoes.
Right.
Because I lived in San Diego, and I just
Back
across
and
the board.
forth, back and forth. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. How long were you in the police force for?
I was active police for 15 years, and
Wow.
then I got injured, and I had a prosthetic
Your
knee.
knee, yes.
Yeah, I told that little story. I almost lost my life and my knee, and my wife was pregnant with my son Khalil,
Right.
and he was just born at that time, and I was just clowning in the hospital when they talked about amputating my leg. And she's like, "Look, if you don't get yourself together, I'm not coming to see you no more. I'm not bringing your son up here." And I was just staying in my room with the curtains drawn, with nobody come in. I just couldn't fathom being without a limb.
Going through the motions for sure, and God definitely kept you here for a reason. And this is this is one of the reasons that you're a spokesperson to the community. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about you is sometimes, the OGs or the guys that have been around for like 40 years, there's a bit of an elitist mentality. And that's what I've always respected about yourself is that you don't care whether there's someone new in the game, old in the game, only there for hype, or they're there for the OG Jordans. You're there to kind of spread your knowledge and treat everyone the same. And that's what I've always appreciated about you.
I appreciate it. And I've never come on and say, I got these and you don't. I know a lot of people do that. And I do have some things that people don't have.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm cool with Fat Joe. I'm cool with a lot of celebrities, and that's the same thing they said. And I was like, man, I look up to you, and they like, I've been following you for years. I didn't even know that he even knew about me. Yeah. And I have a pair of his 8s that I got from Fred Jones.
Amazing.
Who I met a couple times at Snkr events, and I told him the 8s were my favorite.
Great
8s. I went to an event in Indianapolis. And he said, man, stop by my store. He had a store in Indianapolis at that time. And he gave me a pair of 8s, man, from the Knicks days. And I'll never in my life get rid of those.
Absolutely not.
I just couldn't believe it. The people that I met from celebrities to regular people like you and I still I'm just a regular person. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not rich. I mean, I've just been blessed with good jobs to be able to afford
this. Yeah, and you've been to Winnipeg, where I'm from. You went to a sneaker show in Winnipeg, and I moved to Calgary, Alberta, Canada at that time. But I was so choked when I heard you were going. I was talking to all my guys that ran that show because they're all my friends, and I was like, oh, I would do anything to be there right now. So it's very cool to see that you don't even go to the biggest shows only. You go to all the shows.
Look. Canada, Toronto, Winnipeg, Montreal, Scholar.
Yeah.
You had him on. I watched your episode.
Yep.
That is my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is we say that to each other.
Amazing.
And when I had the opportunity to meet him in Montreal, man, it's like we had met before.
Yes.
And we never had, but he was, man, he is such a cool guy. We just picked each other's brains, and he's helped me out to this day. To help me get out to Los Angeles a year and a half ago when I went out to the 2K event.
Right. Yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah, he shouted me out because he couldn't make it, and I got to display my 1 through 23 collection. And thanks to him, he won't take the credit for it, but I give credit to anybody and everybody that helps me, whether it's helped me get a shoe, helping me get some acknowledgement, help me whatever. I like to pay it forward, because it comes back to you full circle.
That's amazing.
And it's happened. It's come back to me full circle with everything.
Amazing. Yeah, no, it's very cool to hear those stories, and it's crazy how footwear, something that we're just all passionate about, can connect us to the point where we've talked online for so many years, like you and Sean, and then you meet in person, and it's like your long lost brother that you haven't seen in a few years, and you guys connect on that personal level over footwear, and it's so cool.
Correct.
Yeah. So what did it mean to you when these came back with that red, this little detail right here? Some people are like, who cares whether it's black or red? But for someone like yourself, who this is a huge detail, what did it mean to you for when these came back?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Your favorite shoe.
Just like with Sean with the tools.
That's right.
I had been speaking on them for years and years and years. I said, they coming. And then when they came, I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
and how they look, how they feel,
Right.
compared to the OG. Nothing will be like the OGs.
Right.
Nothing, because
No,
it's a different time.
different era, different time.
Some of the retros, like with the fours, with the cuts, they're trying to get the cuts right.
Yeah.
And that's a major.
The toe box on these.
Yeah.
The toe box right there. Yeah, they're doing great things. So something like this with the leather change, like, did that bother you? Because some people on Sean's page were blowing a gasket over the material swap.
Man, they gave me the business too. So.
That's crazy.
But what I said was they should have been leather to begin with.
Well,
in my opinion, I think they should have been leather.
For someone like yourself that has like the 99 fours, what starts to happen with those? They start cracking right here where they crease, and then the material starts flaking away. So something like this will stand the test of time. In 30 years, the midsole might be toast, but this upper is going to be perfect still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the more you wear them, the more comfortable they get. It's just, I just like the leather touch.
No, the leather is gorgeous. And something that you're doing still to this day, which is crazy. And a lot of people like to preserve their shoes in boxes and just stare at them. But for me, something that I always enjoyed about you is you'd get a crisp pair, you'd talk about it on video, and it'd go straight to feet. So, like, you have shoes that are over 20 years old that you still wear today. Was that always something that you've done throughout the years, is making sure that they stay in the rotation and get some wear to keep the shoe from falling apart?
Yeah, and I've said this a number of times. You got to get them out of that box.
That's right.
If you don't get them out of the box, get them out of the tissue paper.
That's right. That tissue paper can yellow stuff sometimes too. The towel, the white towel.
I would take the paper out, put the towel in the box, and wrap the shoes in the towel.
And so many people put them in bags and Ziploc them. That glue's drying up.
Yeah,
that glue's gonna go.
That's like us putting us in a paper bag.
That's right. That's right. You cannot do that.
They need air just like humans.
Yeah, that's right.
It might keep them from turning yellow.
Yeah.
As soon as you put them on and walk, that sole gonna be behind.
That's right.
Because
and that's the biggest thing. The glue. The biggest thing is when you wear the shoe, the glue heats up and it like rebonds to the shoe. But if you have it sit in the box for 18 years, when you go to wear them, they're toast. They're done.
And people don't believe it when I put them on. I'm like, I can't make you believe that this shoe is still wearable, other than me showing you it on my foot. But I have a lot of shoes that are still wearable. That shoe is still wearable.
And you know what? I went to Portland, Oregon for like an event with some individuals in August, and I had these on my feet. And a bunch of the guys were like, "How the hell are you wearing a shoe from 1999?" And if you look right here, they're not peeling away at all. Like, it's because I've worn them like at least 2 or 3 times every year since back in the day. Mm-hmm. And that's the secret, right? Other than polyurethane midsoles, those will crumble eventually. Yeah. But you got to wear your shoes, and that's what it's all about. And that's, you're enjoying them at that point right there, right? So
yeah, I get a kick out of my 1985 Chicago ones.
Yes.
My first shoe I bought with my own money, right?
Yeah.
$65.
Right.
Still wearable to this day because I wear it the first of every year. At least. Right. Sometimes I wear it more than that, but that shoe will always be in my rotation.
Be in your rotation.
That's another shoe I'll never get rid of, because that, although I was in college, $65 in 1985.
They don't understand. They think that's cheap. That's cheap today, not back then.
You can compare it to that $300 17 that's coming out.
Yes, absolutely.
That was what $65 was in 1985.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so for someone that has over 1,400 pairs, like, how do you even decide what to wear or keep things in the rotation so they don't fall apart? Because you could wear a new pair every day and you wouldn't get through your rotation in like 5 years.
Yeah. Great question. And
yeah.
Shout out to the Container Store.
That's right.
Blessed me with over 1,100 of the drop.
Wow.
Wow. So looking at it, I can look at what I want to put on. So I get dressed first. That's what I do first. I put my clothes on. Then of course you got 800-900 pair of shoes you can wear with a certain outfit. With a color. Like if I wear black, which I predominantly wear is black. Most of the shoes are black and red, black and white, black and whatever. So I get dressed first and I look and see which ones I want to put on. And then if I go somewhere and come home, I'll change. And that used to make my wife mad, but that's when I that's when I started putting the pictures on the boxes before I went to the drop fronts.
Right.
So I would know what I'm looking for instead of fumbling through boxes. But being able to see them through the drop fronts, I could just walk up to it and say, hey, this is what I'm going to put on today.
A lot easier to see what you need to kind of get in the rotation, or that hasn't been worn in some time.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking about your wife, what does she think about all of this? This mass, your basement's just like this, like, it's like a walking through a history book of like footwear. Like, what does she think of all this?
Yeah, you remember the first house, right?
Yes.
We outgrew it. I mean, African Caesar would come down there doing a podcast and knock all my boxes over, and we would make jokes. we would make jokes about that, man. But when I saw this house first, it was available, and then I told her, I said, let's go look at it. She didn't think we had it. So I said, don't say that. We gonna get it, and we got it. I said, just let me have the basement.
Yeah.
So
basement of the Jays.
I got the basement, and this is what it is down here. But she collects Coach purses.
There you go.
You know, like when I went to Winnipeg, I would go to a Coach store. When I traveled out of town, Indianapolis, there would be outlets everywhere.
That's right.
Coach outlets, Nike outlets. So
That's right.
I would pick up purses and bring them back. And she always wanted me to pick them out. For some reason, she liked what I would pick out. And she has, 400-500 purses.
Amazing.
So it
goes hand in hand.
I have shoes. So.
And that sounds like Sean. I think Sean's wife, Scholar23, I think she has a bit of a collection of things going on too. So that's kind of how it works, right? Like, she's got her thing and you have yours. And some people might think, well, shoes are so expensive. Well, purses can be more expensive than shoes.
Yeah, and especially if you get more than one at a time. that's
Absolutely.
The key. You get more than one at a time, that makes her like, oh, okay.
Absolutely.
But she keeps count. She keeps count of what she sees coming in here. Be like, okay, it's time for a new purse.
Absolutely amazing. Obviously we're hearing that the metallic 5s are coming back next year. The flu game, black and red 12s. What are some pairs that we haven't seen yet, or that you want to see retroed in that OG former fashion? Like, what are you waiting for? Like, top 5 pairs that need to come back. What would they be for you?
Cherry 16, Ginger 16.
16s all day. 16s. I'm a huge 16 guy. Love 16s. I got them here somewhere.
Yeah, the 17s.
Yeah.
The
college
I call
blue.
Wizards,
the college blue 7.
College blue.
Those need to come back. Yeah.
Mine separated, but the black and the silver are still holding on.
Yeah. Amazing.
I need the red and
the white,
the white and red. They're coming back. So
those got recalled. Those got recalled in 2002. My local store had them. I went to go buy them, and they shipped them all back. I don't know why, something happened, but they got rid of them all.
Yeah, I had them in a size 15, and a guy I know who wanted a size 15. I ended up selling them to him because he wanted them more than I did, and I never was able to get them back. So I'm looking forward to them.
16s and 17s, definitely.
Yeah, I just
White infrared 6. White infrared 6 needs to come back with Nike Air.
Yes.
Where are they?
Where
September blue, or sport blue, however you call them.
Exactly.
Those got to come back too.
I remember September blue.
Yes.
You see them on Science.
I've heard both, but yeah, absolutely.
Seinfeld used to rock some J's.
They used to have some awesome J's. Family Matters used to have some sweet pairs on there too. Definitely those sitcoms had some amazing pairs. So, and the craziest thing for me is someone that's an OG like yourself. A lot of these elitists are people that just, they only care about 1 to 14. So I just asked for your top 5, and you named off a couple 16s and 17s, which that was my era of being a teenager. I was 13 or 14 at the time, so that's what I loved. So I'm very much with you. 16s and 17s, like, bring them all back. I need them all.
Yeah. 21, 22, the red suede.
Red suede.
Man, we gotta have
with the pods.
I think what I'm gonna do is start posting more pictures.
Yes.
Of sneakers over 14.
14, yes.
15s on up,
and
just start posting those because those don't get enough love.
No, they don't. And there's so much tech packed in those shoes. They're so comfortable. They were so forward thinking. Those shoes, the 16s, 17s. Yeah, like all those the gaiters and covers on the 18s, 19s. Those were
Oh
so ahead of
yeah,
their time. I love
yeah.
those. Some people think they're gadgets or gizmos. I love that. I love
Hmm.
the crazy, the 18s with the flap, the Lamborghini like look on those. So yeah, he played in some premium shoes in his Wizards
Yeah.
days.
The Mellow 18s.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
I even love the 19s, the Midwest with the patent leather.
Oof.
Gary
So I
Payton,
double stack
yeah,
Zoom Air in the heel. Amazing
the
shoe. And
Gary Payton
the
19s when he's with the
The
Lakers.
SEs.
Yeah.
Those
Oh
SEs were
man,
so good.
come on,
Yeah, they
man. Those
got to
were
bring
some
those
dope
back.
shoes.
Yeah, they
Those
were
were dope shoes.
amazing.
And they were
Absolutely.
basketball shoes too.
That's the thing.
They were true
Is
basketball shoes.
they were made for hooping, but they looked the part, and you could wear them off court. The patent leather toe,
Yeah.
they were fantastic shoes. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
One of the craziest things for me seeing you is like obviously the majority of your collection is Jordans, but I saw that you were kind of getting into foam posits a little bit. You were wearing some penny foam posits. What kind of got you into that?
I always liked foam,
Right,
but I was a Jordan guy, and I didn't venture off. I like Converse.
right,
Dr. J was my guy.
right,
I was just locked in on J's.
right.
That was just my focus. But now I ventured off into some Blazers. I ventured off into some foam posits. I even got the top 10.
Right.
Just because that's the last shoe I wore before
Amazing.
Jordan.
So
And that's what we
cool.
wore in college.
In college.
I broke
in the
my
day.
ankle wearing those my junior year,
Right.
The top 10.
Yeah.
Then I had to wear them again after I redshirted, and that's why I was still there in '85, or I would have been out of college. So I had to spend an extra
Absolutely.
year because I got injured. But
And you
the top 10s was it for me.
top tens. And you said you broke your ankle, and that's the thing about rubber cup soled shoes with leather is that when you make those hard lateral cuts, your foot goes that way and the shoe goes that way because you're trying to. I broke my foot in this shoe right here in grade 9, and this is a friends and family pair that Converse just did. I think 100 pairs of, and I was fortunate enough to grab a pair. But yeah, these leather shoes back in the day, they were very unforgiving. They had no tech inside of them. They were just rubber and leather.
Yes.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the kids of today
And
don't know what they have.
I knew my ankle was gone.
Yeah.
I came down on somebody's foot.
Yeah.
And it just rolled.
Yeah.
And it took me about 9 months for
Right.
it to start feeling with no pain. So they just redshirted me that year.
That's tough.
And that was the year after we were the first school at the University of San Diego to go to the NCAA playoff.
Right.
And we beat Gonzaga.
Amazing.
I blocked John Stockton's shot.
Stockton,
to
yes.
win the game. I played against him.
Amazing.
I played
Is
against
there
him
any
in
footage?
college.
Is there any footage online of your playing days? I would love to see that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's-
There is?
There's some on my Instagram page.
Okay, I'll have
Somebody
to
put
find it
together-
on your page. Yeah.
Somebody put together a highlight tape of me dunking
Amazing.
and layups
Amazing.
and things of that nature. So it was pretty cool to see
I gotta check
after
it out.
42 years ago.
That's
42
crazy.
years ago. I'm an old timer.
Yeah, early 60s. And that's, to me, that's something that's so cool because for you, like a lot of people think people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they wear like those wingtip, like classic shoes. And that's what you wear when you get to that age. And that's what I enjoy so much about yourself is no matter the age or number that you're at, you're always going to stick with what you're comfortable with. And that's, footwear of your choice, like Air Jordans and foam posits and such. So I don't think that's ever going to stop for you, is it?
Oh,
Is that
no.
what you're going to, that's right.
I'm in this till I'm 10 toes up, no matter what the number is going to be.
Yeah.
It's at 1,440 now,
Yeah.
or whenever it's my time, that'll be it. And then people say, what are you going to do with your collection?
That's a good
I don't
question.
know.
That's a good
I don't
question.
know what's going. I don't know. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, you got some kids and yeah.
I got my kids, and I explained everything to them. I got 4 rookie cards.
Yeah.
I got them put away for them. That's gonna be some paper for them.
Yeah.
I've explained to them what that's
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
I got some vintage shoes.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be here. I can
That's
only
right.
live. I can only do with what when I'm here living.
Yeah.
And my goal is to have a museum, and it's in the works. I've talked to a few people. It's gonna be
Amazing.
in a warm state. So I'll just say that
Absolutely.
much. I can't really speak on it right now because it's still in the works.
That's right.
But I'll be a major part of it. I'll be there to speak. People will be able to say book me just to walk through and me talk about, because I'll have my clothing, I'll have everything.
Amazing.
There, which I'm looking forward to that. Whenever
that's very cool. Yeah, and whether I hope that happens, obviously many more years here. Hopefully you got 30 plus more years here on Earth. I hope that happens when you're still here. But whether it happens now or with your kids, that would be so cool, because you're like a staple figure in this community that I think so many people respect. And I would love to make the trip down to that museum to walk through and see all of this.
Somebody said the state. I don't know if they already.
I saw it.
Already know.
I saw it. I saw the state pop up.
It might already be out then.
Maybe it's getting out. Yeah, people need to keep their mouths shut.
No, it's cool, man.
Yeah,
cool.
That would be very cool.
I'm excited, and it hasn't even happened yet. I'm excited. I see my boy African Caesar.
Yes,
he's on here now.
Absolutely. I saw him jump on.
Yeah, now he can come down here and not knock stuff over.
Absolutely.
But that's my guy. He supported me, man, and
absolutely.
And, you know, we've had some really good times, man. Traveling with the podcast, the different sneaker cons, and the people I've met. I met good, the bad, the ugly. You know, I don't focus on the ugly.
No.
Either the bad, you know. I haven't done anything to anybody. The bad have come back around and said, man, I don't know what it was. I was just on this hate tip. I'm like, man, look, everybody come to their senses after a while. And the good, I focus on that.
And people that, like, you know, if they've been following you long enough on your YouTube channel, like, the one thing I always enjoyed as well is at the end of your video, you always had like a quote or word of the day that you'd always share with us. And that's something that I always appreciated, because sometimes I'd be watching your video and it's like, dude, that's exactly what I needed today. Or that's what I read in the Bible this morning, and he's quoting it on his YouTube video. So it's so cool that you kind of, you know, you've never spread hate. You've always spread love and always been accepting to all people. So I think that's one thing people need to understand, that they can come to you with questions and you will answer them.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm an open book, man. I've been through a lot. You know, I was married to a person who cheated on me with my partner on the force, and filed for a divorce before me, and ended up getting 100 pair of my shoes.
I remember that as well.
All of my autograph stuff. Some of the stuff I wasn't able to get back. I kept the ones. Wasn't getting the ones.
Not happening.
But you know, you just got to be careful who you deal with.
That's right.
But then you never know what a vindictive person will do. They'll try to get you and break you down to the very last compound. And
that's right.
And I guess she figured that would
hurt,
take me out.
That would take you out. Yeah, you were almost done with shoes altogether then.
I'm gonna be 100. I was.
Yeah,
I was. But then I'm like, that's what this person wants, and I'm not gonna let that happen. And now it's even better. I don't even really focus on those 100 pair, or I really focus more on the memorabilia, because I don't think I'll be able to get that back. Because that was in the early days. Autograph, UNC,
not
basketball,
happening.
That would be too much to pay to get that stuff back at this day and at this time.
Well, after 2020 with The Last Dance, like, you know, rookie cards and all of that stuff before The Last Dance, like, stuff was like somewhat reasonably priced, but now it's like, it's a mortgage payment to get like a pair of beat up Air Jordan 1s. OGs.
You look say on eBay for the older Jordans, man, it's more than a house note, 2 house notes to try to get them, and it's just not worth it now. But when I started in the PE game, I wasn't paying
at outlets
prices for PEs.
And you were getting them at outlets.
15, $29.99.
Ray Allens. Yes.
It was just crazy how they had them there, but now, you know, they are so overpriced, and people just want that to be for clout. That's right. They don't collect them to wear them. I wear my PEs.
That's right. That's amazing.
You know, but most people get them and just leave them just to say they have them and how much they paid for them. I don't like to disclose what it's because it's not about that. Yeah, I don't. And people ask me how much you pay for this, how much you pay for that. I never.
No.
I never say, because it's not about what I paid for them, but it's not what people pay for their stuff nowadays. It's nowhere near that.
No, not a chance. All your stuff is like back when it came out in 2000. That's when you got those 15. So
yeah, like
very
people
cool.
ask me about. Oh, go ahead.
Are people ask you about what? Sorry.
No, people ask me like about my Ray Allen 8s. That's probably the most recent shoe that I got. But what I did was I had the UNC off-white.
Right.
One. I traded those.
You offset it.
I traded those. And to that younger person,
I think you're crazy.
They would right, but they would rather have the off-whites.
That's
and
right.
I wanted those 8s because the 8s are my favorite model. So
more sentimental value, yeah.
And then I look at it like he got what he wanted, I got what I wanted. Who cares who won?
Cares? Yeah, who cares?
I didn't. So
it's all relative.
Most people would think.
All relative. So nowadays, like I know for a while there with like SnkrCons and all the shows, it seemed like you were traveling and going all over the place. Are you still doing much of that? Like, are you still going to shows as frequent or not as much?
No, I haven't done a show.
It seems like it's been a minute.
It's been probably a year or two before COVID.
Right.
You know, I haven't done it. It's really slowed down.
Yeah.
As far as having collectors there, they just want the resellers with all the same shoes at the same table.
They all have the same tables.
You just fighting over who got $1 lower price.
Yeah, you know, the $2,000 shoes at every table.
Yeah. But back when I started going to shows, I remember I went to Cleveland for my very first show, and I was going to shows for nothing.
Yeah.
And then I went to a show in Cleveland, and they offered me money, and that's when I figured, oh, okay, I can make money.
You can do something with this, yeah.
Yeah. And it was I would just ask for gas mileage in a hotel,
like flight and hotel or something, you know.
But see, I drove. I drove to most of them. Except for Winnipeg, I flew there and I had everything on the plane with me. But most places I drove to, I had a conversion van, man, and I was traveling every week.
Amazing.
9 times out of 10 by myself. And then
that's wild.
Later on, I had a guy, Reggie Johnson, that used to travel with me. My son, my oldest son, he used to be my manager.
Nice.
I didn't like negotiating the pay. You know, I would do it for free, but if I could get money for it,
why not?
He was like, "Let me do it, Dad.
Yeah.
Let me get you what I feel that is worth for you to get there." But
rightfully
then people just don't want to pay that now, so I don't really do events now.
And the thing is I don't think you ever really seeked these opportunities. They kind of came to you, and these people were coming to you. So it's like you got to kind of make it worth your time, right? Because you know time is money, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. And for me, I think that's the biggest thing. Like I would gravitate towards your table at a show 10 times out of 10 more than those, you know, the hype tables and stuff. So I really appreciate what you brought to the table, literally at those shows.
Man, I took thousands of pictures.
Wild.
Signed thousands of autographs. I never thought that I was that popular with people and that people have followed me like that. And that was really humbling and really cool that people knew my history.
That's right.
They knew what shoes I liked. They could say, look at a shoe on my table and tell me what I
tell the story. Yeah, the story that you told us.
Man, all that stuff was so cool, man. I missed those days. And then when SnkrCon went away from that and stopped having me come out, you know, it was kind of like a slap in the face. But then it kind of just showed where the sneaker community had gone. Right. You know, it had gone to reselling and it hasn't slowed down.
No, it's just been crazy.
It's slowed down.
The Jordans, like during COVID, the OG Jordans or Jordans in general were selling like hotcakes and crazy. And now you can walk into the mall and grab those 9s. Even at the Nike store, those 8s are still sitting. So
love it. I love it.
Yeah, for guys like us, it's amazing.
And you know, back in the day, you could find number J's.
They all sat
after, yes, and now they act like this is something new. It's nothing new.
Yeah,
I remember the pre-internet days when I used to call down the Nike store in Ohio and be like, "Yeah, we got them. First come, first serve." I'd be in a ride.
Amazing.
To Ohio to get them, you know.
And my earliest day was Nike Talk. So like 99, 2000, I used Nike Talk as an outlet to find out what was coming out. So I could be like, oh,
Yeah.
I got to save my shoveling money for the next 4 months to buy that Jordan or whatever. So, you know, it's not like we didn't have blogs back then to know when a shoe was coming out. Sometimes you'd go to the mall and be like, holy cow, new Jordan's out.
And that was super exciting.
Yeah.
When you walk in the store and just see something sitting there. It's kind of like it is now.
Yeah.
You walk in the store and something's sitting there and it's in my size, in a size 13, 14. Are you kidding me?
I know.
3-4 years ago, never.
Yeah. So, and I remember in 2000, I went to Foot Locker and I was going there for the 15s. And I remember going in to get the 15s and they had the Jordan 6s sitting there, the black infrareds. And I was totally confused. I was like, these came out like 10 years ago. How are these here? And they're like, oh, this is a retro. It just came out. And it's like, yeah, we didn't have those blogs to tell us that, oh. And back in the day, another thing is about the retros, we'd get a retro every 2 months or a month and a half or 3 months. We didn't have a pair every weekend like we do now, right?
2 pair.
That's
regular
right.
Season, playoff.
That's right.
That was it, man.
That's all it was. And
then you see the commercial months before the shoe came out.
That's right.
Sometimes a year before it came out.
That's right.
And we'd all be sitting there waiting for the shoe to come out. Man.
Amazing.
Man, people just don't know how you just be sitting and waiting on the shoe, and now you got a shoe every week.
That's right.
Every single week, it's a shoe.
It's wild. What do you think of the price point of the 17s? Like being 300 USD for me in Canada, that's $400. I know a lot of people are crying or complaining about the price. It is very expensive. Retail back in 2002 was $200. And the low tops that are coming out are going to have the briefcase. Low tops back in the day never had the briefcase. So what do you think about that $300 price point? Like, is that bothersome for you, or do you understand it? Yeah,
I understand it. That's that 300 is 100 for the case. You know,
that's right. Yeah.
Back in the day, 200. You know, the shoes were what were they? 200 for the 17s with the briefcase.
200 USD.
Okay, so then the shoes were like 150. The briefcase was 50. So
prices
have gone up for this stuff. So the shoes are 200, and you know the briefcase is 100.
This is something that I didn't know about until I became with some friends with people at Nike. But a lot of people don't understand the price point of these shoes. So back in the day in 2002 when the 17s came out, Jordan Brand was all in for a whole season, 12 months, of bringing the 17s out. So they were very invested. They've spent 18 months developing the shoe. But now when you retro a shoe, a lot of people don't understand this. All those machines and the lasts and all of these things that they use to make the shoes, they don't have that anymore. I didn't know that. Talking to individuals at Nike, they don't have the original machines that made the 17s. So there's a big investment from the brand to say it's not just we're going to retro this model that hasn't been out in 10 years. They need to make the lasts. They need to go back and make these machines or have these shoes handmade. And the 17s are a very intricate shoe with that TPU midsole that's see-through. They got the air unit in the heel, the zoom bag in the forefoot. They've got the clasp, the lace cover there, you know, so there's a lot of intricate things on the 17s versus like a Air Jordan 5 that comes out every year, right? They've already got the machines and the lasts that are made. So to invest in those older models, they're pricey.
Yeah.
And people just don't understand that. Yeah.
Yep. All of that went into the price point. I'm with you. I truly believe that. And I don't see it 300 as a deal breaker for me. That's fine.
And if you look at the inflation of $200 from 22 years ago to now, it's actually more than $300. And I'm not trying to justify the price, but you got to look at the bigger picture. It's just things shouldn't be the same price as yesteryear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that
just leads, like now.
That's right.
Retros are $210 now.
Yeah.
You know, materials, time, labor, you know, drives up the prices.
But they're also kind of cutting out the resale market a little bit, which I don't mind, because when retros were $150, we'd be, you know, if it sold out and we couldn't get them, we'd be paying resale. But now it's kind of cutting out that resale market. They can't capitalize as much on a retro that's $210. Here in Canada, that's $275. So kind of cutting out that middleman a little bit.
I wait as long as I can.
That's right.
On sneakers now, like I picked this up for Just over $100. I haven't even cracked the box yet, but I'm gonna crack it on your show today.
Amazing.
It's probably nothing that nobody really wants, but it's something that I wanted. So
right.
I picked it up on Nike.com.
On sale.
And on sale.
Have you grabbed these yet? Have you grabbed these yet? The 85 lows?
No, I haven't grabbed
Not yet.
Not yet.
They're a good one for sure.
I need those and the metallic.
The metallics are I got them up there. They're dope.
You got those, right? So I picked up the Gucci boys.
Yeah, and the Gucci Christmas Air Jordan 2s.
Yeah. You know,
yeah, those are. I just $90. I got those for Canadian.
Yeah, and I just got mine for just with the shipping. It was over $100.
But
you know, I was excited. When do you get a pair of shoes for just over $100? You know,
doesn't happen,
especially in my size.
Right.
You know, what size?
I'm a size 10.5. And what are you? Because you are you like a 13 to 15, or what can you wear?
Well, see, I need a 15 in the 36s and above. I just got some 36s and they're a little tight. It's like
the Lucas.
Yeah, the Lucas. They're just
they're made to fit exact. They're made. They're very 1-to-1, and they're very like tapered, and they're made to fit exactly.
Tape. Yes. I need a 15 in a 36 above, but I need a 14 like in the 2s. Yeah. The 2s through 6s.
Right.
You know, the ones I can still wear a 13 in.
Right.
But some shoes I gotta have a 14, and I think it's just because of the make of the shoes now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool. I'm happy you pulled those out. What's the and you know, I don't want to keep you too long, another 5 minutes or so here, but what's the community like for footwear where you're from? You're in Michigan there, right?
Yeah.
What's the community like over there? Like, is there a lot of guys like you that are there for the passion, or is it people that are just really kind of there for the hype and all that kind of stuff?
There's a lot of people here that still have the passion, but there's a lot of resellers in Michigan who hit. And Mr. I don't know if you remember Mr. Allen's. I used to do reviews for them.
I remember you used to do videos at their store.
Yeah, and now they're Snipes.
Right.
So it's a lot of resellers that get the majority of the inventory from there, especially in my size.
Right.
So it's a lot of resale going on here, and you gotta deal with them sometimes. Sometimes I've dealt with them.
Yeah.
And I was able, like with the leather black and red Force. I got a 13 on Snkr app, a 13. Nice. And one of the guys I know that's a reseller, Shoe Guys 313, good friend of mine. He just let me swap them, but I gave him some money. I gave him some money for the love because he allowed me to do that. Not everybody was willing open to that.
Yeah.
Because they want to get that resale money, but I'm sure that there's more people that wanted a size 13 than a 14 in his selling group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a win-win for both of us. I'm not in his pockets. He's not in my pockets. It's just he got what he wanted. I got what I wanted, and I'm cool. I'm not worried about what he does with
that pair transaction or whatever. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about you. You were running that page or that group where you were doing like the retail group where the only guys that were coming there was like for retail plus shipping, and it was going straight to toe. It wasn't for resellers. And that's what I really enjoyed about that group as well, is there was a group of people that were coming together to help each other out. That's so cool.
And I still do that, but I do it on this page, and especially if I'm at the Nike outlet and I see some shoes down there and they're on sale, I say, look, you DM me, hit me with the Cash App. I'll pick them up and I'll ship them.
No problem.
And you know what? I'm so appreciative to people who trust and believe in me that they know I'm gonna ship them their stuff. Yeah. I'm not no scammer.
No.
Nobody that's gonna do
nothing to be concerned about there.
Yeah, but you know, that's a thought that some people have nowadays. But I'm so thankful that people don't look at me like that and know that I'm gonna do the right thing.
No.
You know, I've been burned.
Yep.
I've been burned before.
You've been on the other side.
Oh yeah, a few times, but most times people have been 100 with me, and that's what I love. And that's why I wanted to come on and chop it up with you, especially when I saw Scarlett on there.
Yeah,
I like talking to people, and I I'm just a regular guy, in my opinion.
Exactly.
People look at me like I don't know, I'm
celebrity
a guy or whatever.
Yeah, celebrity.
It's blood, sweat, and tears over here.
That's right.
And I love every day of it.
What's it like for you if there's a shoe you really want? Are you trying the Snkr app, or do you have outlets of guys or stores that like you can hit them up and be like, hey, is there any way I can grab my size, and they're willing to do that for you, or do you have to put in max effort still to get your pairs?
I still got to do max efforts.
Yeah.
There's people who say, hit me up.
A little bit of all talk.
I'll take care of you, but it rarely happens.
Yeah.
So I stop because I don't want to be that person who every time something come out,
always reaching out. Yeah.
If somebody reaches out to me and say, hey man, I got this, which some people have that I was able to get, I say, yeah, I want that. Then yes, but I try not to lean on people like that. If people come to me and say, hey man, Jumpman, you want this? I'll enter a raffle for you, because I know you want it. I know you're going to wear it. I want to see you review it and stuff like that. There's people who still like my reviews because they're different from other people's reviews. I don't have all of the camera. 17.
No.
I'm straight business.
Get right to the point.
Putting it on. Yeah. So that's why I've stuck to the way I've done it since 2008.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a lot of us can appreciate. I guess in parting here, two things. What do you enjoy most about the community? And when it's all said and done for you, like with this whole shoe thing, what imprint do you want to leave on this community as well?
Oh man, two great questions.
What do you
asked, though.
Enjoy most about this community? To start.
The first part is like I said earlier, chopping it up with people like you who have followed me, who know me, who enjoy what I've done and seen the work that I've put in and the work that I'm going to continue to put in, and just the respect that I've earned from doing what I do. And that book was based on my collection.
It's not only about YouTube, it's not only about Instagram, but you're in books as well. Yeah. And I reference this to, remind myself of where you came from, grassroots guy. Like, you didn't start off with this. No one got you here but yourself, and it was all because of passion. So,
and that was so major, that book right there. And I kind of got taken on that a little bit, but I'm not going to focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was supposed to get more pairs. I was able to more books. I was able to give out about 100 books, but it was supposed to be more, but person made a ton of money off of it. A ton of money.
Huge project.
But I was just blessed to be a part. I've been in movies,
I've been
in rap videos, I've had
so cool
cameo. So this has been all fun for me.
You're living your dream, Matt, actually, like living vicariously through just what footwear has brought you, and that's so cool.
Without being a real celebrity, I feel really blessed, man. I do.
And last but not least, what would the imprint that you want to leave on this shoe game, this community, when it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember you by one day, about what you brought to the table for this community?
My love, my passion for sneakers, my knowledge, my history, my being willing to help other people whenever necessary, whether I know you or not.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've sent people shoes with my personal information on it, my address, and none of it has been shared. And that's, I don't have a P.O. box. People tell me to get a P.O. box. I don't have one, but I don't ask for people to send me stuff either. But it's just that people know the realness of me, from me, and that means a lot to me.
And that's one thing I just want to say about you is there are people that I have followed for just as long as you and not as long as you that I've reached out to, not for this, because I'm not looking for anything within this other than a conversation, but I've reached out to ask questions or inbox them, and they never get back to you. There's no interest there unless I'm bringing something to the table for them. That's the only time they're going to chop it up with me. Yourself, throughout the years, I've talked to you on several occasions. When I asked you to do this, hey, would you be willing? You were more than willing. So for the people out there that are maybe a little nervous to ask you questions or inbox you or ask you to come on a show, like one inbox could create a friendship of a lifetime, and I appreciate you so much.
Holla at me. I'm just, like I said, I'm a regular person. I ain't
Absolutely.
I'm nobody. I'm not a person that can't be contacted. I can be contacted. It's via DM, or if you message me on one of my uploads, one of my pictures, man, I will get back to you. You know, it might take some time. I work 2 full-time jobs to make this happen. I got a 17 and an 18-year-old, and got my oldest. He got a car.
Yeah.
So I'm just focused.
You got priorities that are above and beyond all of this. This is something we enjoy, but as a father, I'm a father, a young father. There are priorities out there that we need to take care of first.
Take care of them babies, man. They grow up quick. My two will be 18 and 17, and I remember holding them remember them in my videos.
Oh man, I remember that, and I see your daughter now, and it's wild. It's like, oh, I've grown up alongside them.
All she wanted was ice cream.
Yeah, and you're just a regular guy with an addiction. That you phrase that addiction, and it's so cool. Yeah. So I appreciate you jumping on here. Again, thank you so much. You're a legend in the game, someone that I've followed since I was just out of high school, 2007, 2008. Here I am almost 20 years later, chopping it up with you and talking. I appreciate your time, and everything that you bring to the community is so appreciated.
Thank you so much. I hope I answered all your questions.
Absolutely. And then some.
Cool. Cool.
And you know what? Next time when we do another one of these, I'm going to have you and Sean on together, and we can all just hang out. Let's do it. I'll set it up. I'll set it up with Sean, and I'll hit you up.
I'm off on Saturdays and Sundays. Let's get it.
I'm Friday, Saturday, Sundays. We'll get it working. So thank you again so much, Mr. Bostic. I appreciate your time.
Yep. Have a great day.
God bless. Take care.